So I feel like the class would be more equity-minded. I feel like it would, create a more welcoming environment. If discussions weren't only catered towards the majority minority populations that we have at CSUN, because I feel like obviously there's a very, very huge Latino population here, and there's also a very big, African American population on campus, and I feel like as a person of color that is not from that descent, I feel like I kind of get lost in the discussion, and I feel like, being of Middle Eastern descent, I have never really felt included within my own minority race in these discussions, because I feel like they're very catered towards a specific audience. So I feel like environments within classrooms would be a lot more welcoming if it was not that there was more space for people of non-minority majority descent, and yeah, I feel like that would just allow myself and people like me to bond more with this feeling of okay, we're a minority within a major population, which I feel like is something that CSUN does a really good job of doing for Latino populations and communities.
I want it to be inclusive, an inclusive space where we all feel equal and just. A lot of times we don't think about it when you go in a classroom. You just think about the assignments and the professor and what is going to entail in the classroom. But also bringing diversity and inclusion into a classroom could also help us learn and open up our minds even more. A lot of us do struggle even being social. So I feel that if a professor or classroom setting is open to diversity, even from speaking about it to looking around you and seeing the flags or anything that entails our culture, I feel like we're going to do much better our learning setting. In a learning setting, we're going to feel comfortable coming to class and feel comfortable speaking to one another while there is a mention of diversity. For example, I'm a psychology major, or CADV. So if I go into a CADV class, I know that's our identity is that. So okay, I have something in common. But then when I learn from the other students, their culture or their backgrounds and whatnot, I can maybe relate or learn a new thing from them. A lot of times we walk around thinking that we do already know a lot of culture, but we don't until you start talking or speaking to someone else about it. And then if you do know, they're just gonna build on top of that. And I love it. I love learning every day. I love learning about anything every day or a person.
So I feel like our classrooms would be a more equitable and just space if our faculty could really understand the difference between equality and equity. And when we have such a diverse student body here at CSUN, it's really important that our faculty are trained for how to handle all of these different diverse populations, rather than assuming that if someone is diverse, they're the same as someone else who's diverse.
So for a classroom to be more just and equitable, I think that the staff should go through training to prevent discrimination, such as racial discrimination. It can also be gender discrimination, just something where people out of the so-called norm aren't treated differently just because they're different. And that would just make the classroom more equitable.
So to me, I would feel like a classroom is felt more equitable and has a more just feeling to it when a professor includes resources that are meant for people of color, resources that people of color can use to support each other, to support themselves, to find support in at school, specifically at CSUN, in terms of academics, social life, yeah.